Hi guys, welcome aboard of Crypto Cruiser. My name is Chris and today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and how I exactly managed to predict that the Bitcoin is going to test 52,000 and it actually did last night, yesterday. And how did I know all that? How did I know that from 65, actually from 70 we will drop to 49 and then we're going to have a local high at 65 and then we drop to 57, 58, consolidate, and then we drop to 52. I'll explain to you. So let's get started. As I've mentioned in the intro, how did I know all that? How I've managed to predict every single move of the Bitcoin following this chart pattern. As I've mentioned in my previous videos, I said from July that I anticipate a correction from 70 because the traditional markets are overheating, and I can show you on S&P 500. I detected here at middle of July, end of July, that the markets overall are extremely bullish, and we've been in this huge bullish momentum since end of October of 23. Pretty much we had almost 50% on the upside because we had from 4,100 we almost went 5,700, so that's around 40%. And along the way we had just a small correction here in April and then we shot again. So it just normal to have like a 10% correction, a bit of a severe correction, but nevertheless just a correction. It's not a bear market as a lot of big YouTubers are trying to portray that this is something we haven't seen. Well, no. Here, as you can see on the daily trend, we had the bottom here in April of 24 and now we're setting up a high low, which is completely healthy for the overall bull market. And as I've said, we established a trend line here from middle of July. We dropped from 5,670, I think, all-time high, to 5,150, around 10% correction. And I said you can turn back and you see I anticipate a huge V-shaped recovery, and that's exactly what we did. Prices, we're gonna start testing prices of over 5,600, 5,500, and then I anticipate a correction, and there you go, we correct. We test this trend line that we've established from mid of July 24. We touched again, it was a resistance again in August, 1st of August 2024. We touched 5,566, and now this trend line I anticipate we turn it into support. We'll consolidate for a little bit, something like that. We'll consolidate for a little bit and then we shoot again by the end of the year. I anticipate S&P 500 to go above 6,000, or early next year to go above 6,000. We'll test these price targets here for around 6,300, 6,400, and if we break out of this trend line, sky's the limit. We can go easily above 6,500. But let's not look forward so much and just see the charts as we have it at the moment. So I've mentioned already this drop. We had a huge drop from 70 to 49,000, huge bounce. We start testing these prices of around 62, 63,000, and that's what I said. We're going to have consolidation between these prices of 62, 57, and then once we hit 65, I said this is the local high, and from now on I anticipate huge downturn momentum. Everything is documented. You can see my previous videos on YouTube. That's exactly what I've been saying. from 65 I predicted correctly that we're going to have on downside movement. We're gonna start testing prices between 57 58, and that's exactly what we did. In the process we formed a head and shoulders pattern which is quite bearish, and I said okay, next touch point is around 55,000, and that's exactly what we did. From that moment we started forming another chart pattern, which was a descending triangle pattern, which is bearish again, and I said probably will break down on the downside and we test prices of around 52,000, and that's exactly what we did yesterday. That's how I knew. So what's next for Bitcoin? I'll show you what I anticipate. Since this chart pattern has been nothing but correct for over a month and a half, I have to follow it to a T. It's been playing out perfectly. So this descending triangle pattern broke down on the downside as predicted. I anticipate the next few hours or tomorrow, by the end of it, we start testing prices of around 55,500. This downward trend line, before it was a support, now I think it will act as a resistance, and then the final bear trap, the final wash off. I'm not sure we can break down beneath 52,000, but it's possible to go 52,100 or 52,000 exactly to the dot, and then we'll confirm this channel. We'll be moving in this channel, and then once we touch these prices of around 52,500 or even a little bit less than that, 52,000, I anticipate a huge move on the upside, and this will confirm that the bottom is in, and then the continuation of the trend, something like a reverse head and shoulders, or maybe just setting up higher highs and higher lows, which of course will signify that the bottom is in, that the correction is over, and that the continuation of the trend will continue. A lot of people are thinking, oh, how come you're talking only about warning videos, you're making only warning videos, and you're just overall being so bearish on the Bitcoin? Well, I've been bearish on the Bitcoin because that's what is in the charts, but overall when you look at it on the weekly, I'm extremely bullish because we're in a raging bull market, and right now we're just in a correction, just a normal correction. As I've said, bottom is almost in, and then continuation of the trend. But how did I know, and what brings confidence in what I'm saying is this chart, the weekly chart, because the bottom was here, December of 2022. We already hit the bottom, and we had the 5 moves on the upside, then a little bit of a correction. And what brings more confidence in what I'm saying is from October of 23 till March of 24, we actually tripled in price. We took around 25,000 Bitcoin to almost 75,000. So we can't just ignore this huge move. Because we had such a huge move, that's why this correction has been continuing for over 6-7 months, and I think we're almost at the very end. I'm not gonna be surprised by the end, as we can clearly see on this chart pattern. Middle of September, end of September, we start hitting prices of over 73,000 and establishing a new all-time high, even in September. A lot of people won't believe it, and that's exactly what the market's usually doing, to shake off all the weak hands, to confuse all the participants, including the bears and the bulls, and just to endure as much pain as possible to all the participants in the markets. And that's what I'm anticipating. So after we go to 73, 74 by beginning of October, that will surprise a lot of people. They'll turn bullish as well. So that I anticipate another correction, maybe a bull flag, and then we shoot again. We correct again, maybe January, February of 25, and then we shoot again. And then we'll correct again May of April, May of 25, and then we shoot again. So that's how I think it's gonna play out. There's gonna be corrections along the way, but overall we'll continue the trend on the upper side. Continuation of the trend is up. We can clearly see. So why we're gonna be bearish overall in the long term, as some of these big YouTubers, they're warning. They said, well, that's it, you know, no more altcoin season. No, I don't think that's how it's gonna play out. It's gonna, like every asset in the world, nothing goes in a straight up direction. Along the way, we're gonna have consolidation phases, we're gonna have corrections, we're gonna have bear markets. But right now, what the charts are showing us, that we're in a huge raging bull market, and we can't just ignore that. Just to conclude with this video, I anticipate to have a little bit upside momentum to 55,000. Test this trend line here, the bottom of the triangle, descending triangle pattern. It's not this previous support will turn will turn into resistance, and the final shake off where we can potentially go 52,000, between 50, maybe just slightly below 52,000, or 52 to the dot, something like that, or maybe we're just gonna stay around 52,500. But I think we test again this trend line, and then we snap out of it. We can snap out of it. We'll go 56, 57 in the next few days. We'll test this trend line that has been a resistance. Here we have resistance from 3rd of September, few points, 4th of September, and then we had 6th of September again as resistance, and I think we'll snap out of it eventually. We'll turn it into support, and then the continuation of the trend. And as I've said, that will confuse a lot of people, and by the end of September, beginning of October, I'm not gonna be surprised if Bitcoin is over 74,000. Okay guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the nice comments in the comment section. Thank you for supporting my channel. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube, please do it. There's a lot more content coming. And if you want to subscribe to my Patreon and get my crypto guidebook for free, if you subscribe to my Patreon, you can do that as well. There's a lot more one-on-one consultations as well, and overall I think you can find a lot of value in my Patreon channel as well. Thank you for tuning in again. I really appreciate everything, and we see each other later on. Goodbye.